Today we go over new details for Star Wars Episode 9, the final film of the Skywalker saga. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, as we all witnessed at the very end of The Last Jedi by director Rian Johnson, we saw the death of Luke Skywalker as the robes fell, and he became one with the Force into the sunset of Arc 2, and we are left wondering as to what will JJ Abrams and crew do with the character of Luke Skywalker being portrayed by Mark Hamill once again in this movie. Now, we've been going over a lot about Luke Skywalker, and I actually went over a video of mine a couple of days ago on one of the big ways they could very well bring him back. There was an early script for Return of the Jedi in which Obi-Wan Kenobi came back, in the flesh, flesh and blood, alive, not a Force ghost, and that was ultimately scrapped, during the Endor celebration. So, looking at everything that we have been learning for Episode 9 these past couple of weeks, we do know that they are looking over in Jordan as a potential location for a specific scene for this movie. It's the same spot, by the way, that they used for Rogue One for Jeddah City and the original location of Jakku, which ultimately was actually a stand-in from, of course, Abu Dhabi. Now, looking at everything with what we have been learning about Episode 9, through all of the different set designs, etc., it seems as so that they are really trying to go for as many practical effects as possible in this movie by use of the Cardington sheds as well. They're building, entire hangars in there, which could very well point to Yavin 4. But moving on away from that, I wanted to go over new details of a scene where Mark Hamill, Adam Driver, and Daisy Ridley will be participating in. You guys may have heard this just a couple of days ago, that all three cast members will be engaging in a scene this September of 2018. The shoot is to last 3 whole days, however, over at Pinewood. The set is to have many green screens, which could tell us that this is how they will actually make Mark Hamill into a Force ghost. Now, this is where things get interesting, though. There are 2 sets being constructed as of right now for the said scene, which could very well indicate that Luke appears as a Force ghost to Kylo Ren and Rey separately. And this is a concept that a lot of people have been thinking about right now, is, well, let's say if JJ Abrams decides to bring Luke Skywalker back as a Force ghost, which is, I would have to say, the most likely scenario, as much as I really would hope for him to come back alive or in the form of flashbacks, which I still think is going to be a thing. Flashbacks definitely will be a thing, I think, in this movie. But looking at Luke Skywalker in the form of a Force ghost here, we've all been wondering exactly who is he going to actually appear in front of. Now, as we went over 2 days ago, he is doing a scene with Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley. Now, this could mean a million things. This could mean that he's filming in front of the 2 characters, or it could very well mean that he will be filming with Adam Driver for one set and with Daisy Ridley for the other set. Anything can really happen here. What I personally would like to see, I don't know if you guys like this idea, but where Luke Skywalker is essentially a Force ghost that's tormenting Kylo Ren and driving him to insanity, where essentially Luke Skywalker is reminding him, is this really what you have worked your whole life for? Is this really what makes you happy now? How does it feel to be, the top of the First Order or something around those lines, where Luke Skywalker is just essentially reminding him, how does it feel now to be like your grandfather, Darth Vader, or to be like that of the Emperor, right? A figure like that who's just ruling the galaxy. How does it feel now? And I think that Kylo Ren is still going to have a lot of feelings bottled up within himself, and Luke Skywalker is going to find a way to release the cap and let all those emotions come out. So, looking at Rey here as a character, I think that he will use himself as a Force ghost as guidance to her. She may very well lose herself in anger, or she could do something around those lines. But when it comes to Kylo Ren, we do know that all of these movies reference a lot of other past films. And JJ Abrams, he loves doing that kind of thing, and I can definitely see where things are going. Kylo Ren is very much like a Macbeth-esque character, where we're going to be learning, you know, more about, you know, his internal conflicts and stuff like that, most definitely in episode 9, and to have him deal with a Force ghost, a ghost that's always around him, constantly reminding him of what he's doing or how he feels, you know, being the top of this order, the First Order. So let me know what you guys think about Luke Skywalker, because I think that what JJ Abrams is going to do, since he is the man who introduced the whole entire concept of Force ghosts, or should I say flashbacks, I'm sorry, he introduced the whole entire idea of flashbacks in the sequel trilogy. And looking at that, I have no reason to doubt that, you know, he would not bring that back in episode 9. In fact, flashbacks are going to be a thing in this movie. I believe it was Pablo Hidalgo about a year or so ago who said that concept is just getting started. You know, after The Force Awakens, they brought it back in episode 8, and they most likely will be bringing it back in episode 9. And I think it's a great tool to really, you know, kind of like fill in the gaps of the past and tell a more fleshed out story of Ben Solo before he turned to the dark side, or maybe seeing Kylo Ren in his early days as Kylo Ren, you know, like what was he doing just after slaughtering the new generation of Jedi? What was his actual path to gaining such power with Supreme Leader Snoke? I want to see something around those lines, and I want to see more Luke Skywalker in the flesh. And I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this. Over at Pinewood, the 2 separate sets, could this very well indicate that Mark Hamill is filming a scene, alright, with Adam Driver separately and Daisy Ridley separately, where there would be scenes involving only Daisy and Mark, and then other scenes only involving Adam and Mark as well. That is something that I think is going to happen in this film, and me personally, I think a more realistic route would be maybe where Luke appears as a Force ghost, visually in front of Rey only, but as a voice to Kylo Ren, haunting him and tormenting him. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.